All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are finally back here for the losers bracket finals. It's Korea versus Celedor in this matchup. Whoever is going to win this best out of 5 series will be able to progress towards the grand final, baby, and that is going to be a best out of 7. So, best of luck to both these players, both very, very strong. They made it this far into the tournament, so without a doubt, these are very strong players there. A little bit of a questionable plays there by Korea in the previous game, but hopefully this time around he will be able to play at a much more calm and resolved manner here in this game, because we definitely are looking for very, very awesome games to watch. That being said, my name is Larc and I'll be your main cast today, and with me is none other than Katips, man. How are you?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Celedor does against Korea. Hopefully Korea takes some time to think about his plays and before committing to any of his moves, so he doesn't get any unfortunate misplays like he had earlier. Those were very, very unfortunate for him. Those were very crucial moments in the game where it just turned around and just bit bit him right in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, the fact that just one simple misplay just costed him a lot of the games there. And I think we all know that he could have been able to easily win, the rogue Fire Win Sushi when he was playing his Hunter deck there. He had a chance to win, but unfortunately, a little bit of misplays left, right, and center kind of really hurt him, and it actually snowballed from there. So hopefully he will be a little bit more calm and resolved in this game. And yeah, we can definitely expect a really good matchup here. I mean, both players very strong. Celedor, damn crafty when it comes to, the kind of mechanics into the cards. And as for Kriya, I mean, he is still very, very strong no matter the misplays. So with that being said, this is Losers Bracket Finals, one step closer towards the Grand Finals. It is going to be a best out of 5 here. We have Celedor versus King Korea. Let's see how this match is going to go. Game number 1. Korea going to be taking the bottom half of the board, Celedor the top half, and it's going to be Korea's Druid versus Celedor's Handlock there. Not Handlock, sorry, Zulok.
So here we go with Korea opening up. It looks like he is taking his token druid with indicated by his Argent Squire. So he is gonna test his luck against Celedor's handlock.
Well, it's not Handlock, it's a Warlock. Zulok. Zulok. Yeah.
Zulok, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Zulok. All right. Here we go. We are on the go. Opening early. Celedor opening early with his Void Walker. And Korea probably gonna put down his Argent Squire. Yep.
The dude's girlfriend, as usual. Always protective there. Unfortunately for Korea, his cards and his build-up is actually very questionable at this point in time. Not really the best option here for him. As for Celedor, he's just going to go ahead and play that Knife Juggler there. Korea, I mean, he could by all means just try to trade off the taunt. And I think right now the biggest problem here is the fact that he doesn't want to keep that Knife Juggler from staying alive in this game.
I wonder if he thought about doing an innervate swipe, but definitely he's going to need that later against a Zoo deck.
Yep, it's a very, very good removal there in terms of that Zoo deck. I mean, it's playing around a lot of very low-cost minions there, so I think we can expect a lot of that coming out here. Look at that, right off the bat, Celedor just going to go ahead and use the Abusive Sergeant onto the Knife Juggler, getting 2 juggles in, both from the Abusive Sergeant as well as his girlfriend, the Argent Squire there. Going to go ahead and hit face for 5 damage as well. So doing a chunk of damage already to Korea, Celedor is. And looking at his hand, it's looking very good.
Yep, so now Korea has a good number of options right now. He has Wrath in hand, he has Swipe in hand. So he has to start thinking about how to start carefully removing these creatures, because they can snowball, especially when stuff like the shield bearers come up or the second Void Walker comes out and prevents him from doing damage straight to Celedor's face. He can't keep on turning out these creatures, especially with a Knife Juggler in play, and he really has to take care of that threat very early on. So it looks like he's going to use Wrath to take care of it.
Yeah, I think the best option is just a Wrath. Now, would you even coin to hero power kill of the 2-1? Okay, it seems like he's going to go ahead with that play there. So look at that lonely girl. She's all left alone there. Argent Squire 1-1 on the board, and Korea, he has the card advantage if you think about it against Celedor. But Celedor could always one-up him with the fact that he has the ability to always tap. So At this point in time, looking at Celedor's hand, he does have two Defender of Argus, but do you really want to play that right now? I mean, he actually just even drew Soulfire, so do you think you just want to taunt up the 1/1?
Yeah, I think, or he could also tap to see what his other options are. Maybe he can draw Shield Bearer, another Voidwalker, but he does choose to play Defender Vargas and have a Taunt on board with Divine Shield.
Yep, and unfortunately though, Korea doesn't really have a good curve here. Uh, do you think he should just go for the pop on the shield, or maybe even a swipe onto the 2/3?
Oh,
Or
it's kind of dangerous now. He's starting to he's already lost 10 health and he's going to be sacrificing two more and still leave the Ardent Squire with 2/2 on board. So it's very very unfortunate for him, but because around now he should be getting his Violet Teachers, he should be getting more of his other token stuff. So this is pretty unfortunate actually.
yeah, I mean he's really losing on a lot of steam here. Doesn't have the necessary RNG and cards in his favor here. It seems like he might have just used all of it up in the very first series there in that best out of 5. But I mean, he does have a couple of plays. I mean, he could always just go for that swipe, and at least the bubble will be popped. But
Yep.
he has to always be aware of what might come next.
Yeah, you can never count out Zoo. It has so many low-cost creatures that makes swipe effective, especially if you can buff it up with something like Blood Mage Thanos. And I guess he's considering the fact that those threats are just too dangerous to stay alive, so he chooses to use swipe on the Defender of Argus and pops the bubble of the Argent Square.
Mhm. So right now, Korea is going to be faced against that 2/2. That could potentially be even stronger. Look at that. Already putting the pressure
Oh.
on is Celedor there. That's a free 2 Young Priestess that is probably not going to die anytime soon. One swipe was used already. In fact, he's actually keeping that Soulfire in his hand. Doesn't want to show it out just yet. And look at that. Argent Square becomes a 3/4 now. Value from Young Priestess.
Oh my gosh, look at that. So unfortunate that Blood Mage just comes out on his top deck right now. He could definitely have used that earlier with a swipe. He could have innervated to it. Oh gosh, very unfortunate.
Yeah, it is quite a shame. But I mean, again, hindsight for entertaining, we can't really say much because it was probably the best play for him there. If had he waited a turn longer, we might be seeing him probably faced with even much more of trouble. So it seems like we're just gonna see the Force of Nature gonna be used here. Get rid of everything else on the board. Only leave a 2/3 on the board there, and value is redeemed there for Korea because now he will be in a good position. So we can't discount him out just yet. He is gonna be at the turn 6 next turn. He does have a couple of plays, but yeah, I mean Celedor right now he loses out on his minions, and I think this is gonna force him to tap right here because that Elven Archer is really not gonna do much in this kind of situation.
Yep, so definitely this is the time for Korea to start fighting back because he has some strong turns coming up ahead. He has the Azure Drake option to draw more cards and refill his hand. And of course, if he gets down too low in health, he can play Ancient of Lore next turn on turn 7 to give himself back 5 life. We both know that, as we saw earlier, Zug does run out of steam. It can definitely run out of steam, especially with bad draws. So it's still anybody's game at the moment. If Korea can start fighting back and putting down some threats and drawing the right cards, then he still definitely still has a chance.
Now he actually gets a top deck. Well, it's not really a top deck. He gets another draw there on the second Golden Savage Roar there. But I mean, he's actually, I guess you could say he is in a tough spot. I mean, there is essentially 7 damage on the board right
right.
now. He has
He
to
has
find,
he has none of his tokens. It's probably very frustrating for him because right now you would have expected that the Violet Teachers come out. He has more tokens along with the Power of the Wild, but none of those are coming out. It's actually looking like he's playing an Ancient Watcher deck based on his draws right now.
Well, it is from what I believe is the token druid. I mean, we did see that Violet Teacher a little bit in the previous game, and it's just so unfortunate that he just can't draw on them. Now, here's the interesting situation, though. So there is another Dire Doggy there. Gonna unleash that dog there into the wild, and that's actually essentially gonna give him about 1 more extra damage. But it's not gonna be close lethal. I mean, he could always just tap first. I think that's also a really good decision if he wants to.
Yep, he definitely has the health tap. it's probably always a good option when you're this far ahead in health and this low on cards to always tap first to see what your options are. But he's
Oh,
probably not. Yeah, but that's probably the play that he wanted. He wanted to use up his Soulfire first,
yep.
and then tap to see what his options are.
Yep, for sure. So making sure to deal damage here, I would actually just go for the face. I wouldn't even bother about the Blood Mage Falanos at this point in time because you might actually have a chance to draw him something he really needs in order to get back into this. But I think it's pretty hard to clear this. It's really gonna come down to Korea getting like a swipe, but
And even then, he's
yeah.
just lost his Blood Mage. So,
Mhm.
oh boy,
He's
this
gonna
is tough.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and restore himself, but I think we all know that that's basically more than enough damage on the board. And that is actually gonna be the first game that is probably gonna go in favor there for Celedor. So wow, it actually seems that Celedor is finally able to find some footing against the SG team. So SG, unfortunately, Korea is going to be losing this first game here against Celedor. So Celedor, one up in Korea here in this game. Philip, I bet you got to be feeling proud right now.
I'm very
Tips.
happy. All these third world decks played by the Philippine player and getting much success. So I'm very happy. I'm very proud of Celedor right now. He's playing pretty well.
He is, and in fact, he is getting the draws that he definitely needs. But at the same time, Korea, unfortunately, not getting the draws that he wants. So, without further ado, though, we are going to be jumping into game number 2. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. Now, we did see the Zoo deck, and guess what? Korea is going to be busting out here. It's that Aggro Hunter. Look at that. That seems pretty interesting.
Oh boy, so this is the battle of the aggro right now. This is the meta versus meta aggro. So we have Face Hunter on screen right now for Korea, and we are facing against the Zoo deck, its nemesis, in the aggro sense. So let's see who gets the better draw. So Korea has some interesting mulligan decisions to make right now. So he chooses to let go of his Abusive Sergeant, keeps his Blue Bomber, and gets one of his first doggies. So how's it looking like from Celedor's point of view?
Well, Celedor has a pretty, I wouldn't say it's the best hand, but he does have at least, the taunt. He can always play a turn 1. He also has the ability to coin into a knife juggler if he wants to.
Mm.
I don't think he needs to be too worried about his knife juggler dying so early on. So I think just getting that knife juggler out and get a little bit more damage in would be a lot better. So there you go. He's going to go ahead, coin into that knife juggler. And right now for Korea, though, doesn't really have much of a play here, but Blue Gale Warrior.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty unfortunate for Celedor to lose his coin into that play and just lose it to Bomber. But well, I think his best option right now as a Zoo player, you really want to put down your defenses against Face Hunter and make sure you get the aggro and the momentum to basically make the Hunter run out of steam, have him rely on his spells and not overcommit yourself to stuff like exactly what Korea just drew, which is explosive trap. So you want to keep your defenses up, you want to keep your offense ahead, but you really want to play around the unique stuff for Hunter, which is your Unleash the Hounds and explosive trap, making sure not to overcommit.
Now, I mean, in this kind of situation, would you say that Korea doesn't necessarily need to worry too much? Yes, there are minions on the board, but if he keeps building up that zoo, we all know Unleash the Hounds can be very devastating.
Of course, that's instant turnaround for a Face Hunter deck. You can't overcommit as a Zoo, even if you're pinging him for 2 damage, 3 damage per turn. Don't overcommit with your cards because you're just one explosive trap away from clearing your whole board and getting Unleash the Hounds with Hunter's Mark and the whole, all the special tricks of Hunter to annoy everybody.
Exactly, and I think here this is an easy explosive trap. Unfortunately, it doesn't really deal with that Argent Squire.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately. And
and
it's also going to keep he's probably going to want to use his hunt. I don't know if it's a good choice to use his Hunter Mark right now on the Voidwalker. We'll see.
well, I mean, the thing is here, if you can look at the hand of Celedor, I do believe he's probably not even going to lose any minion here because the next turn we could probably see Celedor buffing up his. I mean, he will lose one Shattered Sun Cleric, but the other one will still survive if he wants to kind of buff up that Shattered Sun. It will be down to 1 life though, so it's very risky. And I think for Celedor, he doesn't really need to, worry too much about that. I think he should be fairly all right losing a bubble and a free 2 minion on the board.
Yep, just making sure to keep his momentum up and keeping his life lead and making sure he has options in his hand. Oh my gosh, he could have tested that first. That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, well, I don't think that's the best play.
Well, the thing is, the reason why he decided to attack after he buffed us because he knew that it's probably going to be like an explosive trap. But in my opinion, I don't really like that play because what could happen is that if Korea does top deck or get something like a unleash the hounds, he's going to be able to
Exactly.
clear that board, and that is actually very scary. Look at that. That's the second clear.
Okay, so that's very fortunate on Korea's part, getting his second explosive trap. It's gonna clear Celedor's entire board, and he can afford to sit back, I guess, and wait for Leroy to start having some more options. He also has that dog and um, the bite afterwards to as a finisher as well. So his task right now is to clear Celedor's board and to make sure he has options as a finisher.
Mhm. Well, this point on, that really good card there, the explosive trap will deal with everything on the board, and in fact, Celdor takes 2 damage. So unfortunately for him, he won't be having the ability to dish any damage in unless he decides to go with the Soulfire. But there is a chance that he'll lose that very very important Doom Guard.
Yeah, that's right. I think. Oh boy, what? It's very bad when you have both Doomguard and Soulfire in your hand. It's
Mhm.
very painful to make that kind of decision.
Yeah, it's the worst thing to have to deal with. I mean, you could always try to go for the RNG and hope that the Soulfire will remove the Elven Archer instead of the Doomguard. But I think that's asking for a little bit too much. And at this point on, I don't think he has to.
Yeah, that's right. He could probably tap and see what his options are, but it's going to.
Oh, he loses
Oh,
it.
my
Oh
gosh.
man.
That is. Oh wow.
Well, I mean, Celedor is known for his very risky plays with the YOLO Rag. So, unfortunately, there he loses out on Doomguard. He will play a Flame Imp and a very questionable Elven Archer here. But, I mean, the thing is, he's really lucky because Kriya still hasn't drawn into the cards he needs.
Yep, that's right. He has 1/3 of the equation with his Timberwolf, but he has neither Buzzard and the Unleash the Hound. So it's a bit critical for him right now. I think Misdirection is a good play. Just keep on making. Oh, he's gonna go for the kill command.
Hmm. I guess it's a fine play because, I mean, he already has Leroy Jenkins in hand.
Ah,
He
that's right.
effectively can do 10 damage next turn with. Well, does he have enough mana? Wait, he will be at 7 mana. Yeah, he does have enough mana. Leroy Jenkins plus Abusive and Hero Power will definitely be able to get rid of Celedor. And unfortunately for Celedor, though, it doesn't really have much of a play here. He does, though, have the Shield Bearer there, so that's always very helpful in that kind of regard.
Yeah, that's right. So he can put down a shield guard, stop Leroy for one more turn, and then. Oh my gosh, what's
Oh! That's really unlucky. His misdirection actually hit his Timberwolf instead of the 3-2 there.
Amani Berserker? So he's running the version of Zoo which uses Amani Berserker, which is something that Nimsh developed. So let's see what Krea's options are right now. I think he's just gonna go for a flat hero power. That shield bear is gonna be very annoying for
Mhm.
Leroy.
Yeah, I think he's actually in a really bad position now because the next turn, Celedor is going to do another 5 damage to the face of the Hunter. Hunter really needs something to kind of win this. I'm surprised that until now he has not gotten a single Unleash the Hounds. It
Korea
seems like,
has
yeah,
Korea has used up all of his luck in his first
yeah.
3-0 series, and he's not getting his tokens and his token druid. He's not getting Unleash the Hounds in an Unleash the Hounds deck. So pretty very unfortunate for him right now.
It really is. And I think here at this point on, I would actually just, mark the 2-4, I mean the 0-4 Shield Master.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. He does the play. So it could still be anybody's game. If Celedor draws a Doom Guard or he does Leroy, it's pretty much over. So we'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. But I think honestly, Hunter's Mark is just such a like I mean, you could always use it later on, but might as well just use it right now, right? Or
Yeah. Well, either way, he's not going to be able to take advantage of it anyway without anything attacking. So he
Mhm.
can play it now or he can play later since it costs nothing basically. So I think he does choose to play it now.
Yep. So gotta go with the play to make it all the way down to 1 life, and let's see what Celedor gets. Oh, it's a Flame Imp, not the card that he wants
Oh
now.
boy.
When especially he's at 6 life, and I don't think he really wants to tap because
I think leave Shield Bearer, use a Mani Berserker to clear out one of the and the Flame Imp to clear out the other abusive.
oh my god, that's game. He didn't trade the abusive sergeant. That is game.
Oh,
Leroy Jenkins to the face. Korea making his comeback there. He's going to be able to take the second game here against Celedor. And Celedor losing out on 1 game. So it's 1 apiece. 1 for Korea and 1 for Celedor. So I think that was just a major misplay on Celedor's part.
yeah, he should have taken out all of the threats. He should have remembered that the threat of a charging attacker is still very, very present. So that was pretty unfortunate.
Hmm. That is for sure. So it seems this time around, Celedor, he had the upper hand. It seemed like he was actually going to really win the game already. But Korea, at least making an attempt, he comes back into this game, gets 1 off against Celedor here. All he needs to do is continue this aggression. But at the same time, Celedor, man, it's very dead even right now. It's 1-1. It's 1 game apiece. All each of these players needs to do is just win 2 more. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and jump into the into the third game. But before then, Katips, I'd like to get your opinion so far on the games that we've witnessed.
I'm feeling very bad for Korea. He's just not getting the luck that he needs. His decks aren't running ideally that he wants. Even if he does a smart mulligan, he's just not getting luck. He wasn't getting any tokens on his token druid. He wasn't getting the proper offense on his hunter. It was very fortunate for him that Celedor had that misplay, so that he was able to take the win. But still, it's very frustrating. So it is a natural part of card games where luck is involved. But this is it is very demoralizing when it happens to you.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully both these players will be able to steal their resolve and be able to, constantly keep going with a full head of steam and keep bringing us really entertaining games. With that being said, though, it seems like we're going to do a little bit of a giveaway here before, jumping into the next game here, as we do have time. So we have a lot of, we still have a lot more to give out for those of you in Twitch chat, as well as those at the live event. Anyways, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the eGTV Hearthstone League Season number 1, the Road to Northrend, and it's almost coming to a close. This is probably the most exciting game because it's the one that decides who's going to be able to fight against Wensushi in the Grand Finals. With that being said, though, jumping into this giveaway here, for those of you who are here for the first time, it's more or less a sound trivia. So all you need to do is actually just guess what card the sound being played comes from. So let's just say it's a Murloc. I mean, you hear like and all that kind of jazz. It's probably going to be one of the Murloc cards. So basically, all you need to do is go ahead and guess what the card is. With that being said, in 2 minutes, we're going to be bringing out we're gonna guess. I mean, not we guess. We're gonna be picking a winner. That being said, though, here is the sound for trivia number 5.
I usually work alone.
One more time.
I usually work alone.
All right. So for those of you who play a lot of Hearthstone and are fanatics of the audio, the in-game audio, there, go ahead, take a look at the Twitch chat, type in your answer there in the little box at the bottom right-hand corner. And hopefully you'll have a chance to win yourself 5 SGD worth of MOL Points that is, of course, sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So, check it out. Alright, so again, for those of you who are just joining in and have not heard the sound, we will be playing it again here. This is going to be trivia number 5. The sound file is...
I usually work alone. I usually work alone.
And for the last time,
I usually work alone.
alright, so go ahead and clock in your answers there in Twitch chat for a chance to win again 5 SGD in worth of MOL Points, sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So go ahead and just put in your answers before we jump into the next game of this best out of 5 series. So anyways, looking at this game though, Katips, man, what do you think are the chances for both Celedor and Krea in this best out of 5 series?
Well, we do know that Celedor still has his Hunter deck as well. So there is a chance we are going to see Hunter versus Hunter, depending on what Celedor wants to play. But anybody's game right now, because if you play your aggro deck like Krea is now, and then you run into a control deck that stops it, it's now your third deck. So you're going to be having to you might have to play a deck that's unfavorable against control, might not do as well. So at this point, it's 1-1, anybody's game right now, really.
Yep, 100% agree with you on that point. It's really difficult to tell, but I'm sure there's a lot of fans. Speaking of fans, if you guys are located in Singapore, why not go ahead and jump on down to the AlienwareArena here in Sunnyside, Singapore. It's a really fun gathering here. But before I talk more into that, I believe it is time to reveal trivia number 5. The card is the Kidnapper. So for those of you who got the Kidnapper right, you will stand a chance to win yourself 5 SGD worth of MOL Points, sponsored by MOL Points itself. And speaking of sponsors, we'd like to truly appreciate, give a big shout out to our sponsors today. We've got our sponsors from Razer, MOL Points, AlienwareArena for the venue, and of course, eGTV for sponsoring the prize pool. $1,000 SGD dollars of prize pool here. Of course, first place is going to be getting 300 SGD, followed by second place that is 150, followed of which is 80, and last but not least, fourth place that gets 50. So, good amount of change there for viewers to get. I mean, not viewers, for the players to get. With that said and done, though, Katips, are you ready, man, for this third game of this best of 5?
Very excited. Let's go. Let's start.
All right, let's do this.
Let's get it on.
Let's get this game on, and let's see who is going to be able to continue this full head of steam and aggression. Both players, 1 game apiece. Here we go. Game number 3, best out of 5. Losers bracket finals to decide who is going to be coming into the grand finals against Wensushi there. Again, the grand finals is a best out of 7. So that's going to be a very tough road there for the players involved. Alright, so I believe we are probably ready to go into this game. I'm excited for this game. Are you excited, Katips?
Very excited. Of course I'm rooting for the home player, but Krea, I also, I feel for him, and he is playing to the best of his ability. He is making the most out of his plays, just not getting the right cards, just not getting the luck. But let's see what happens now in game number 3, where he is taking his aggro hunter versus Celedor's warrior.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this warrior, just by looking at that starting hand, we kind of can tell it is, again, that well-renowned control warrior, something that a lot of the players nowadays in the meta really appreciate. On the rise, a lot of these control decks. But for Krea, though, what are the chances of his aggro deck against this control warrior?
So yeah, its control warrior is very favorable against Hunter. As mentioned earlier, it has a lot of cheap removals. You have your cruel taskmasters. You have your deal 1 damage to all minions. There are a lot of options, and there's a lot of mid-range and endgame threat on the part of warrior. If they can survive the onslaught and make the hunter run out of steam and not overcommit his minions to power unleash the hounds, then it's definitely in the favor of warrior.
Yep, alright, so it seems like the slam was instantly used on the minion over there, making sure not to put any single point of damage onto him. There you go with the Wolf Rider, though. The coin from Krea already applying pressure onto Celedor. And now Celedor, he does have 2 removals. He does have the slam, he does have the whirlwind. But using this whirlwind so early on, I guess, would you say is worth it, or...?
I think he has enough removal to deal with all of the threats that Kreia can pump out. I think it would be safe for him to just keep doing a removal. Oh, I'm not so sure about
Mhm.
Whirlwind though. Given the number of one health creatures that Hunter has,
Yeah.
that's a little greedy, I think.
Yeah, that
Or that's
was.
playing a little too safe.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was thinking as well. So Korea this turn though is gonna go ahead and throw down that golden comment there, that leopard gnome. Look at it glaring with its very scary green eyes, and gonna go ahead and hero power. And look at this, Korea right now stroking the griffin for luck, hoping that he will be able to win. He's practically mimicking the moves of Rexel right there when he was in Cycle 2. Look at that, just petting it, trying to get as much RNG out of it. So here, in this game, man.
Well, definitely he could use all of the luck that he can get because he has not been getting the cards that he needs. But right now he has a pretty decent hand right now. He does have another Wolf Rider. He has a Silence to take out any blocks. I think Arcane Golem is a safe play at the moment. Yeah, I think it's what he's going to go for. I think it would be good to start removing... Well, he could also play the Owl against the Armor Smith. I'm not so sure that that's the right time to use it.
Well, I mean, would you say that it's still alright because armor still is kind of translating towards that armor towards Celedor and his effective life pool. So, wouldn't you just say it kind of cuts out the chance that he will start building, a huge amount of armor?
Yeah, but also if he had played Arcane Golem, he will give an extra mana crystal to Celedor, but he will be able to take out the Armor Smith without losing his Arcane Golem. So that would still be two creatures on board, pretty big threats, and would force Celedor to start whacking his face into them. But anyway, that's hindsight now. He has played the Silence, and he has played his weapon. So let's see.
Well, I'm guessing this is a pretty easy Leopard Gnome here because Leopard Gnome will definitely be able to trade with that 1-2. He always has hero power to rely on. There is a charge as well. Do you think he should actually charge this up in hero power? Because, I mean, the thing is, he only has one charge left on that Fairy War Axe. So essentially, he's probably going to be taking 6 damage just from this Wolf Rider.
Oh gosh, big. Well, he did use already his first whirlwind, so it will force Celedor to react to a 3 damage and drop it. And because he is now under at 18 health, even though he has an Alexstrasza option later on, that's still a threat he has to deal with. So I have a feeling he's just going to play his Armor Smith, his Silenced Armor Smith against the Wolf Rider, and then, well, yeah, that's pretty big pretty big threat to play on the side of Celedor.
But all right, so yeah, Celedor here, he just plays with the the Tauren, not the Tauren Future, I was about to say Tauren Future, the Kain Bloodhoof, very, very strong minion on the board. And right now, I mean, Korea by all means can always just ignore this. He can just keep going for face as much as he wants because, I mean, he does have explosive. I mean, just look at his hand. There's a lot of damage output that he has. I kind of want to question a bit earlier on about the Wolf Rider. Do you think he should have still just gone for face? I mean, it was silenced, the Armor Smith, in that kind of sense.
Well, he does need to put his name on the board. Kreia does still have 30 health, and his health is going down pretty fast with all of these threats. So, it could have been an option, but at the moment it's pretty irrelevant because now he has to deal with all of these little threats, and his health dwindling down to almost 10.
Now, he does have a couple of ways to deal with this. I mean, he can always even just put up the aggression. He can in fact use Grommash to deal with one of them and turn it into a 10, if I'm not mistaken, is it a 10-6?
Yes, I believe so.
Or was it...
Or 10-5.
10-5. 10-5? Alright, okay. Well, nevertheless, I mean, he has the option to just make it a very, very strong minion. I mean, honestly, like, Korea doesn't have much to kind of deal with a Grommash, but he's actually going to go with the Slam instead. He goes ahead and slams the Arcane Golem. Arcane Golem is down. Trades the Cairn with the Leopard Gnome, and it's going to take 8 damage here. So he has 10 life effectively with that 2 armor. But if Korea is going to be able to... Ooh, look at that.
Oh boy. Celedor is probably going to... one of the things he's not going to be... It's going to annoy him. So it not only is going to do 2 damage, but also redirect Karen to his face with the lack of everything else on the board. So even if he does put something down, it's still gonna take damage, and it's gonna cost him Karen. He will get a Bane in the end, but let's see how he plays it out.
Wow, he gets a really good lucky top deck there though. He gets the shield block, and now effectively he can't die here. But Eagle Horn Bow plus Hero Power is actually really strong. It's gonna provide a lot of damage here, and we all know next turn Korea definitely has lethal here.
Yep, definitely. Leroy, of course, the big finish for Hunter face decks, and he does have both of those traps. And Warriors generally don't have anything to do, any cards to deal with these secrets. They're very unfortunate secrets, especially from the perspective of a Warrior, where
Well,
he has to attack. So
well, that's game. I mean, he did play Ysera and hope for something, but even if he could, that just practically doesn't matter. Look at that! The aggression from the Hunter is gonna win Korea here. The fourth game in this best out of 5 series. Korea looking very strong against Celedor. I mean, sorry, yeah, the third game in this best out of 5 series. Really, really crazy stuff. I mean, it's insane. I mean, Korea is just looking very, very strong.
But remember, this is exactly the situation that Celedor was in, where he was down 2 games and then brought himself all the way back with his own Hunter deck. So it could be a Hunter mirror, and it could be Celedor's riding on the back of his dogs and taking him back to the grand finals. But it's anybody's game right now. Anything can happen with a coin flip of these Hunter decks.
Right. Exactly. If it's a Hunter mirror matchup, that's going to be actually very interesting to watch. I think a lot of it is also going to come down to who is going to be going first, because they'll probably be getting the upper hand there. But yeah, I mean, so far so good for Korea and his aggro deck. It's looking pretty strong for him. But nevertheless, we still have more games to cover here, and it's going to be the 4th game of this series here, this best out of 5. Celedor down by 1 game, and it seems like he definitely has to find some footing back into this if he wants to be able to, get back into going to the grand finals there. With that being said, though, it seems like we're going to be doing a little bit of a giveaway again, because we do have a bit of time to spare here. So, and a lot of MOL points to give away, in fact. So, we are going to be jumping here towards another trivia giveaway. This, I believe, is the 6th trivia giveaway. So again, for those of you who are just joining in, if you want to take part, all you have to do is just guess the sound of the battle cry that is going to be played on stream. Just guess whatever card that is. Name it. If you know it, write it out onto stream chat there. That's the bottom right hand corner there in the Twitch chat. And if you get it correct, you will have a chance to win yourself $5 worth, 5 SGD worth of MOL points, of course. Proudly sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the 6th sound here for the trivia, the sound trivia. Here we go. It is. Now, I think that's actually going to be pretty difficult for you guys to kind of guess. So, I think we're going to be playing this for a bit, but I'm pretty sure you all know it's a Murloc. So, the question is, which Murloc is it? So,
my guess is it's a Murloc.
For sure, it is a Murloc.
I have a strong feeling in my gut that is a Murloc.
It is a Murloc indeed, but the thing is, you know what? Let's up the deal here a bit. We're gonna up it a bit by 5 SGD more, because this is actually a really difficult one. There's a lot of Murlocs in the game, and the sound is almost the same. So, for those of you who basically live in Hearthstone and know every single sound that every single card makes, go ahead, lock in your answers in Twitch chat right there, bottom right hand corner of the Twitch chat, a little box there. Write in which card do you think puts off that sound? Again, we're gonna play the sound. Here we go. Alright, so if you can guess what Murloc that is, you will stand a chance to win yourself 10 SGD worth of MOL Points, proudly sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So, if you have the idea of what it is, go ahead and lock it in. We will reveal the answer at the end of the series, of the next game, sorry. So, with that being said though, we will be moving on here towards the next game, and that is the fourth game, best out of 5 series. We have Korea, who is 2 points, 1 up against Celedor. Celedor with 1 point indeed. Katips, man. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think we're about to see a lot of dogs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that definitely could be an option here. But let's see how this is going to break down. This is game number 4 in this best out of 5 series, the losers bracket finals, to decide who is going to be making it through to the grand final player. The grand finals, the granddaddy of it, the last and final one to end it, and the dream of Road Northern to reach Northern indeed. Best out of 7. Here we go. Game number 4. We've got Korea here going to be playing again his aggro warlock, and it's actually going to be the druid. So this could possibly be much more favorable for Celedor here.
That's right. If he's able to, as we talked about earlier, if he's able to put down his defenses early, if he gets the right stuff like Ancient Watcher into Sunfury Protector, he's going to get a lot more chance to draw out the game and make sure that the Hunter runs out of steam. But that's still, it's all still fair game. If you're playing Hunter, it's a coin flip. You can get all the best cards in hand. You can start dealing a lot of damage even as early as turn 4 and see how Druid just runs out of options with removal. So let's see how this happens.
Yep, and it seems like Korea, turn 1, actually opting not to even play that, that naked kind of arch abusive Sergeant, which we did see him in the play in the previous round. But looks like Celedor here is actually going to use the coin as well as interfere into that huge Yeti. What a amazing minion to have at turn 1, and I'm pretty sure that's a good play because that is going to probably be the best way for Celedor to stop any form of aggression coming out from Korea here.
Yeah, that's right. So I think his option he's thinking about is just to use Misdirection and just force 4 damage to go back to Celedor. But that's just a temporary workaround. That still leaves 4-5 on the board, even on going on early turns. But he does choose to play Misdirection. So Celedor has to think about now if he decides to play around this trap or just hang back and see what happens. So let's see what he decides to work with.
Well, I think we probably are going to see a hero power here, which would mean that Celedor will miss out on a Wild Growth. So he's going to go ahead and attack, but it's going to be Misdirection. So he's definitely going to be taking 4 damage right now from, 3 damage essentially from the Yeti. And now he can actually take care of the Yeti. He does have the Blue Gale Warrior. He does have the Abusive Sergeant.
Yeah, that's right. So, pretty unfortunate that he could have. I think he could have just. The alternate there, of course, would be to just attack Yeti to face and then draw out whatever the card was. So now it put him in range of Blue Gale Warrior. So, pretty unfortunate for Celedor. So, his entire opening hand of using Innervate and Coin to bring out a Yeti on turn 1 is now moot. So it's now anybody's game. Let's see if Celedor can put up a defense enough against Korea.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at it though, I think Korea's play is probably the Blue Gale plus Hero Power. And this again will kind of force Celedor into the position to decide, okay, do I want to use... here it is turn 4, so he can still, by all means, use Hero Power, and he can even use the Wild Growth to push himself a bit of an advantage against Korea here, seeing as to how he is anyways starting off as starting as the second player here in this game.
It's also getting scary. If you look at Korea's hand, he has all of the components except for one for a big combo later on. So Celedor always has to keep in the back of his mind not to overcommit with his minions, even with especially with traps, especially with Unleash the Hounds, always should be in the back of his mind. So now Korea is probably just going to sit back, wait for his combo to come to him, and just ping him up with the hero power.
Right. Now, I guess Korea here doesn't really have much of a play. Everything else is just practically kind of overkill and it just kind of dies here. So do you think he should just, hero power up and pass, or maybe even just get rid of the 2-4 right off the bat by using kill command, which I feel like is probably better saved for like the hero's phase right there, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think he can afford to just sit back right now. That's just 2 damage from the Keeper of the Grove. It's not going to do much for him right now, and he does have Hunter's Mark for later on. I think he can just afford to hero power pass and then wait for his combos to arrive and make them work with his other beast minion combos.
All right, so it seems like Celedor here. I mean, he can always just play, the Druid of the Claw and put out a big beefy taunt there. Or do you think he should just use, Wild Growth or maybe even a Yeti?
Yeti is safe. Taunt would be safer, I think, especially given against the Face Hunter. So yeah, I think he chooses to play the Claw in its taunt formation. And right now, Kreia is on the back burner because he does not have his combos. I think he might be reluctant to. Well, he goes for the card draw. Let's see what he comes up with. Oh
No, do
boy.
you kind of agree with that?
No, that was pretty. That was a bit risky, but I think he feels like he is out of options at the moment. He wants to accelerate his card draw. Unfortunately, as is the case for Kreia for most of his matches today, he's just not getting the cards he needs.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, swipe is huge value here. So that swipe coming from Celedor is probably going to make Kreia very, very sad right there. Look at that. Instant value.
Oh boy. Ouch.
I think Kreia is probably feeling really salty about that now because that's a lot of damage coming up from Celedor, and now the tables are turned. Big minions on the board. Yes, it's only down to 1 life in terms of the taunt, but
Uh-oh. He did use up his entire with 2/3 of his combo with the Starving Buzzard and with Timberwolf, so he now has no options to draw right now, and he has no options for removal except maybe to commit to use one of his kill commands, but still, he doesn't have an option to clear them both. He's gonna take damage next turn either way.
well, I mean, this point in time, do you think he should just do the whole hero power pass kind of jazz again?
I honestly think he won't survive for much longer. I think he can. It's painful, but I think he should kill command the 4/1 and hero power and pass, because at the moment, 6 damage next turn is a lot to ask for. It's gonna put him down pretty low.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're only sitting on 13 life, it's something you just don't want to have to deal with against. Hopefully, he doesn't silence the taunt, because if then he will just be practically pushing that back to a 4/6. So
Yeah, that's right.
seems like it's just gonna go with the play here of the kill command instead of dealing with that imminent shred on the board, and in fact gonna go for face. Now he's even thinking about throwing down the Night Owl there, Iron Beak Owl, sorry. But do you think he should actually do that?
There's no reason to, because it's just gonna get eaten next turn anyway. So, I think he's just feeling the need to play something, because at this point he is all in. He is out of options with regards to card draw, with regards to an offense. So I think he's just making the most out of his plays. Oh, unfortunately, Celedor has a perfect answer to it and gets the card draw in return for his wrath.
Yep, for sure. So it seems like innervate into. Oh wow, that is pretty interesting. Ancient Floor to heal himself up.
I guess he's afraid of any last-minute finishers from the side of Kreia, but he should see by now that Kreia is down to 1 card, and he has played his Timberwolf and Starving Buzzard combo, so not many options at this point. I think he should just clear it out with his clear out the Wolf Rider with his 2/4, attack 5 to the face.
Is that game? Yep, that is game.
Yep, that is game though.
Yep. This even has a Savage Roar if he really wants to, but he doesn't need to. But look at that, Celedor making the comeback. It is gonna be 2 games for both these players. We're finally gonna be seeing a best out of 5 all the way through to the 5th game here, man. Katips, this is insane.
Yeah, so like I said, putting up an early defense, making the Hunter run out of steam, that's exactly what happened. Kreia got pushed into a bad spot, and unfortunately, again, luck wasn't on his side. He wasn't getting the proper cards that he needed to bust through the defense, and unfortunately, he went all in when he played the Starving Buzzard and the Timberwolf, and unfortunately, drawing out his other Leper Gnome. So, very, very bad luck for Crea. He is now pushed onto his last 2 potential decks. So let's see what he decides to use in his last game.
Yep. I mean, this is really, really, it's crazy. But with that being said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and give the answer for what the giveaway was. By the way, the 6th giveaway there. The answer for trivia number 6 is ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, the old Murkai Murloc. What an amazing card that is. I think that is a pretty difficult Murloc to actually. I mean, Murlocs in general is just really hard to guess because they're just and all that.
I was actually on the fence between Grimscale Oracle and the Epic card. I wasn't thinking about Murkai myself.
All right, so that being said, though, we're gonna go into the next game, but before then, we're gonna take a little bit of a breather here. So it seems like okay, I just wanna, I mean, Katips, this tournament so far, how has it been, man?
Oh my gosh, we've seen aggro get on its 4 paws and crash through everything. We've seen it stopped in every way possible. We've seen 4 Ragnaroses in play within 2 turns. We've seen the craziest set of draws on the part of Sushi, and who is now sitting pretty, waiting for his opponent in grand finals. So, oh my gosh, it's been a great set of games, and I actually didn't realize we were going on our number 6. So, been pretty happy to cast this with you, Larc.
Thanks,
and
man.
thank you for having me.
No problem. It's great to have you as well. Speaking of which, it seems like our good friend Babel really loves to give away things. So, with that being said, Santa Babel coming to town early. Here we go with giveaway number 7 before we jump into the game. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. So, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, if you don't know how exactly the trivia works, I'll just break it down for you very, very quickly. All you need to do is just guess the sound or the battle cry that you hear on stream. What card is it going to be? All you need to do is just answer what the card is. So, like early on, you heard it was the old Murkai. He was just with all that kind of jazz. All you need to do is just guess what that sound is and write it out in chat there over at the Twitch side, bottom right-hand corner there of the Twitch chat. So, that being said, here we go for trivia number 7. It is...
We have many secrets.
Again.
We have many secrets.
So, to add on the secrets, it's up to you to find out what secret it is that this person is mentioning. Well, not mentioning, but whoever this person is. So, go ahead, lock in your answers, put it over there in the Twitch chat. Of course, for sure, you guys will have a chance to win yourself 5 SGD worth of MOL Points, proudly sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So, go ahead and place your answers. Anyways, guys, for those of you who have no clue what this tournament is, it is the eGTV Hearthstone League, the Road to Northrend, Season number 1. Road to Northrend, by the way, we are finally going to be reaching that end there as we are about to close up this this losers bracket finals, and we're going to be jumping soon towards the grand finals. And the grand finals, best out of 7, I think that's going to be a very interesting one. For those of you in Singapore, go on down. Don't be in your house, man. Don't be a caveman. Come on down to AlienwareArena here. It's a pretty good show. We've got a lot of people here as well spectating. You can have a chance to win some goodies as well on the spot, or take part in a little bit of a raffle. And at the same time, you can also go ahead and support eGTV because we have some really awesome Hearthstone shirts. If you guys have not seen it already, I think Babel can link that to you in chat sometime later on today if you want to see a little bit of it. You want to see his handsome face with that shirt. Well, he's not actually not that handsome. So, but with that being said, though, let's just go take a look back at the the giveaway here. The trivia giveaway number 7. What is it gonna be? It is the Kirin Tor Mage. So for those of you that guessed Kirin Tor Mage correctly, you will have a chance to win yourself 5 SGD worth of MOL Points, proudly sponsored by MOL Points themselves. So again, we will be, we will be choosing a winner later on, and that winner will probably be contacted by us, so you don't have to worry too much about it. That being said, though, we are coming to quite a close here for the losers bracket finals. The crowd here at Alienware, are you guys ready? I guess they are. They're a little bit too busy waiting to watch the show. But Katips, my co-caster, are you ready, man?
I am ready. Let's get it on.
All right, so let's get this next game on here, the last and final in this best out of 5 series, to decide who is facing Wen Sushi in the finals. We've got Krea versus Celedor. Game number 5. Here we go. Let's get it on. So I think just waiting a bit on Celedor, I believe. But at the same time, I think the players are already ready for this. Man, I am hyped up and ready to go, man. Katips, how do you think this last game is going to turn out?
It's going to be quite exciting, I think. It's been a back and forth. We've seen aggro come in, wreak some damage, get stopped, and then wreak some damage again. So let's see how it's going to play out. Oh, it's going to be a mirror match between Celedor and Krea in this last game of their series. So did Krea play his token druid already?
Yeah, he's played it time and time again, and unfortunately, he kind of lucked out a bit in that kind of regard against. Wait, actually, if I'm not mistaken, did he play his druid before?
But Celedor won, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He did. Okay, he did. So I think there's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit of remake here because completely forgot. But yeah, I mean, this coming back to the fact about the druid matchup there, it was pretty interesting to see. He kind of, again, like I mentioned, Krea kind of lucked out on that one. So, yeah. Man, it seems like Krea, hopefully he can get his head in the game because this is the most important match. Hopefully he needs to calm down if he wants to have a chance at this. So, and I think as spectators, we would definitely like to see a really good game here. So, with that being said, game number 5. Hopefully this time it's going to be correct here. It is going to be Krea versus Celedor. Celedor, man, his druid is super strong, and it's been winning the game so far, man. Here we go. Are you ready, man?
I am ready. Game number 5. Here we go.
And guess what? This is going to be pretty interesting. It is going to be that hand lock coming out from Krea versus the druid of Celedor. So, this game, man, who do you kind of favor in this matchup?
Oh my gosh. I play druid myself, and I have a heck of a time against handlock. So I think it is in handlock's favor because there are just too many threats, especially with Tinkmaster gone. There's just not enough in the arsenal of a druid to stop all of the big threats towards the end of the game. So let's see. It's going to be all a matter of how Celedor plays the early game and the mid game, making sure to play around Krea's life totals. But we'll see what happens. It could be Krea's unfortunate draws again that makes him lose, but let's see how it plays out.
Yep, for sure. And in looking at this game already, the wild growth has been used there by Celedor. And over at the side for Krea, though, the continuous tapping, just making sure to build up his hand. And speaking of his hand, this time around, it's looking very good, at least. A little bit better, if you think about it. He's got his Mountain Giant there, and he does have both his Twilight Drakes.
Yeah, that's right. So Celedor looked like he's toying with the fact that he wants to intervene in his Druid of the Claw, but I think his best option is still to just hero power and just attack for now.
I definitely agree with you there because it's a little bit risky to just intervene into that Druid of Claw, have no turn 5 play, and be down on cards. So I think, yeah, I agree with you there. Celedor should probably take a step back, be a little bit more composed. Just here, power up and end the turn. Oh, he's gonna go with the Innervate into the
Oh
bear form,
boy.
and this could potentially bite him very hard because look at Creo's hand. I mean, he has a couple of options. He can always coin out a Twilight Drake, but instead he's actually just gonna go ahead and heal, which is pretty interesting here.
Yeah, I think that was a big waste for Celedor because 4-6 isn't gonna stop the big threats of Handlock because even next turn he's gonna get a Twilight Drake for 4-8, 4-9. So it's not enough. I think he has to be more conservative. But that being said, that is a 6-8 Tonner on the board right now. So it's still a big threat. So Crea still has to deal with this.
And I think this is a probably a very easy like mountain giant here. Put up a huge creature on the board. Like Kriya can actually deal with the 6-8 on the board if he wants to, but he'll have to commit to quite a lot, which I think he doesn't necessarily want to do at this point in time. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we never know exactly what he could decide to go for. But looking at it in this point of view, do you think he should actually try to go for that coin into the Power of Woming, into the Soulfire? Or, it just feels like really overkill.
Yeah, so... And we also have to remember that there is Black Knight in the hand of Celedor, so even if Crea starts tonning up his giants, he still has an option, and he does still have Force of Nature in his hand. Still a lot of threats on the side of Celedor, so it's gonna rely now on what he starts drawing next. That's a pretty good card to draw. I think that's pretty decent.
But here, I guess, would you say that playing the cow is a lot more better there? The cash cow, Kieran Bloodoof?
Well, he could definitely do that, or he could do Yeti and armor up and just make sure he has topped himself up. Just if he goes for the face now, so that's gonna put him in the danger zone as far as Molten Giants are concerned, and he still doesn't have a reliable way to deal with this Mountain Giant currently in play.
All right, so more or less opting for the Chillwind Yeti, but I don't know. I feel a bit differently. I feel like he should just play the Carrion Bloodhoof here. So, yeah, he's going to play the Carrion Bloodhoof. In fact, he's even going to hit the face in off Kriya, bringing him down to 17 life. And what a top deck there from Kriya. He can actually get rid of this little minion here. Power Overwhelming, I believe, is a play here onto that Irving Farce here. Instantly deals with the board, and wow.
Oh, wow.
Look at that value, man. Now, do you think he should tap or? Yeah,
I think he should tap. Yeah.
All right, so he gets his second answer there, the Power Overwhelming, another very strong card. Now that is effectively 10 damage on the board that Celedor is going to have a pretty hard time dealing with, but the top deck is well there. He does have the Wrath, and that's going to be an easy win here for him against that Mountain Giant. Mountain Giant #1, by the way.
Yep, so still a lot of threats ahead. He did smartly keep his Black Knight, not playing it raw without any targets, because definitely one of the big threats in the end game of Handlock is putting down a giant and activating it with either Sunfury Protector or Defender of Argus.
Now, I kind of want to ask you here, in this play, do you think Kriya should run his Owl into the 4/5 and then Hellfire just at one single target?
Huh.
Or you think it's just a waste? It's too much?
Well, he's getting very close to being not being able to afford to take more damage. So it is a valid play, but Hellfire will still damage him also. Anyway.
If you think about it, he can play a Molten Giant for free. So
yeah.
Close to free. Which
well,
would be pretty strong.
I think I like that play actually.
So he has a couple options. If not for that, would you think just playing a Drake and maybe even Power Overwhelming that Owl to kill off the 4/5?
I like the
or not
Power
even Power
Overwhelming
Overwhelming, maybe even just a Soulfire on top of the Owl to the 4/5.
Yeah, I think he should definitely see that Celedor's down to 2 cards, and he's still his only options for card draw at this point is Ancient of Lore, so he should, I think, clear the board with Power Overwhelming. I do like your play. I think Molten Giant and then Soulfire or Power Overwhelming, but he does choose to save the
Oh.
Power Overwhelming and chooses to Soulfire instead. He does lose the Drake, however, but that still leaves him with a giant 8/8 Molten Giant on the board.
Yep, that is very true. And the 8/8 is very difficult to deal with. Looking even at Celedor's hand, it's just the Black Knight and what do you call this? Even the Soul of the Forest. Look at that. His curve is so bad that he doesn't have anything to play, and he doesn't have enough mana to play scenarios yet, which he just got. So in this kind of regard, do you think he should even just play a naked Black Knight?
Oh boy, I think he has to play conservatively. It's very unfortunate that he's 1 mana behind on scenarios that could have helped him on in a big way, putting down 2 Taunters. But man, it's been very unlucky for him. His curve is coming to bite him, bite him back.
Yep. Now here's the interesting thing though. The Sunfury Protector is probably going to be coming out here, but we all know what's in Celedor's hand, so that's also a very big opportunity for Celedor to bite on that. The question here is, does Krea want to taunt both minions or just one minion? He's actually, in fact, only going to taunt up the Twilight Drake, so unfortunate for him, I believe that's just an instant Black Knight right now.
Yeah, definitely can't. There's already 14 damage on the board he can't afford. Even though Krea is down to 14, he does have gigantic board control. He still has a equal card. He has a 1 card advantage even, and he doesn't have many options. Is he gonna taunt? I think his best play really is just to use Black Knight against it and just armor up and maybe just try and deal more damage.
All right, so I mean, it really depends. If he's going to go with the scenarios play, he has to know that he's going to be losing out on quite a bit because of that Hellfire in hand for Krea. That's always a very, very good card for him to utilize against the scenarios here. So there is a couple of plays. I mean, his Black Knight will instantly die. That is for sure. I think we all know that the Black Knight is probably just going to die to that Molten Giant.
Yep, that's right. And he does still have a lot of options in his arsenal as far as hand lock goes. We're just seeing the Giants right now. This is just standard stuff. This is actually mid game just for hand lock. So this isn't even their end game play. So this is where the difficulty in Druid versus hand lock comes, in trying to deal with all of these threats without having Tickmaster anymore, without having a reliable card draw. Especially if you don't draw Wraths like Celedor's, like what's happening to Celedor.
Now, I believe Krea is not close to lethal yet. I mean, he does have double Hellfire, which is 6 damage effectively. He does have a Power Overwhelming, but he cannot play everything plus the Leroy Jenkins. So essentially, we're looking at Leroy Jenkins with the Power Overwhelming, and that's only going to boost him up to about 10 damage. 18 damage only, plus 2, so 20 damage effectively. But Celedor has 25 effective HP right now, so Krea can't really deal with this. He did already use his Soulfire before, so that's also not an option that he can go. Do you think he should even tap here, see what kind of card he can get? Or do you think he's a little bit too low for his liking?
I think that's a little bit low, especially knowing that Druids run with Savage Roar and Force of Nature.
Oh.
So, oh wow.
Well, I mean, that just puts him again in range for Savage Roar, Force of Nature. If Celedor is able to top deck that Savage Roar,
It is over.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is over. That will be the end of King Krea. The reign. Over.
Oh my gosh. Very tense, very tense.
So here I'm guessing not even to tap would probably be the better option. Or do you think he's really going to play Leroy Jenkins? Now that could be quite questionable.
If he draws Savage Roar, oh my goodness.
Yeah. This is actually a really tough situation right now for Krea here. If you were in this position, would you just play the rest of the cards in your hand, or just end a turn and play a little bit more conservatively?
Well, what are my options for defense is my question, because I do know that my opponent would probably have one or the Force of Nature or something that can charge, as we can see here in Celedor's hand. He still has the Druid of the Claw, so I'm
well. Actually, if you think about it, him playing Leroy Jenkins isn't that bad since he does have a Mortal Coil to deal with one of the whelps.
That's true.
And that would mean that if the druid were to kill off Leroy, he would have to trade with himself. So, but the problem again is that I don't think he's used both his rafts, has he?
I think he's used one of them.
All right, so it is. I think that's the general consensus that Korea is thinking about right now.
Yep. So it is a big decision because it could be a blowout. He doesn't know that Savage Roar is already ready, or he doesn't know what the defensive options of Celedor is.
All
So
right.
he chooses not to do anything there.
Oh my god, so close to being game. Wait, yeah, so close to being game. Like if he effectively has 8 damage here,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm guessing his only play here is to use scenarios, but we all know that this game is pretty much over already for Celedor. I think we're probably looking towards Korea making it way through to grand finals. I
Oh
think
boy.
he can be pretty happy right now. Oh, but Celedor, man, what do you think he can do? I think, I mean, do you really see a way out of this? There's just no way, is there?
There's not enough. He's lacking 2 damage. Very unfortunate.
Hmm.
That could have been it. Force of nature with had Korea committed to a different play and cost him and tapped or something to drop him down 8 health. It could have been the game right now, but
Exactly.
oh boy.
Wow, this is a very tense and crazy match. Celedor, I mean, we have the God Vision, so we all know Celedor is probably not going to have any chance here. Because even if he does use scenarios with the taunts, there is that Hellfire in hand for Korea, and that would make it lethal for him with just the Stone Giant. He can even go for a more flashy play and even play the goddamn power overwhelming to win this game. So, I don't know, man. Do you think maybe even a... Well, if you think about it, do you think he would be able to survive if he went for the Druid of the Claw Taunt at the 4-6?
Uh hmm. It's not gonna remove all of the threats is the problem. Especially with Hellfire.
Well, actually, wouldn't he be able to survive by 1?
Well, too late now.
Well, actually, yeah, maybe not. But anyways, there you go. Hellfire, power overwhelming. We have Korea, who's gonna be going on to the grand finals to face off Wensushi here. Celedor, what a strong player himself. Well-deserved victory there by Korea. I think he has been very, very on his toes. A couple of misplays early on, but he was able to finally, steal his resolve, man. Katips, what do you have to say for Celedor?
Celedor unfortunately did not have enough to defend himself against Korea. Props to Korea. My gosh, that was a great comeback. He well deserved, despite his bad luck, despite the RNG playing against him. That was very well deserved. Strong series of plays, very crucial, very close, but in the end went to his favor and well deserved travel back into the grand finals versus Wensushi, who is waiting as the Miracle Rogue. He's concealed himself, just waiting for the grand finals.
Yeah, he is concealed. He is right there. I think we can actually call him as the the new gadgeted auctioneer, so to speak.
Hidden
hiding in the
gadget.
shadows.
Counting his money already. Oh, first place, second place. That's a lot of dollars.
Yep, I know that is actually very crazy. So, do you have anything to say about the matches so far?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's been pretty exciting. Unfortunate that Team Philippines could not make it to grand finals, but very, very proud of Celedor's performance.
All right. Anyway, guys, as you all know, the next and final match, possibly final match, is gonna be the best out of 7 grand finals here on the main stage. We have King Korea. Is he gonna be able to redeem himself against the Prince of RNG, the Ninja Rogue, Wensushi there? It is pretty interesting because this is actually a reversal of Cycle 1. We're seeing King Korea coming up from losers bracket to face against Wensushi, who won in the winners bracket final. So, with that being said, guys, do not go anywhere. We will be coming right back. We still have a lot more to go for. I want to make a quick announcement though. For those of you guys on stream, as well as the guys on live audience, I guess we can just explain that to them a little bit later. But for those of you on stream, we will be holding a little bit of a wager and win, a kind of a raffle, so to speak. So what you're gonna do is we are gonna be giving out 80 SGD worth of MOL points, probably sponsored by MOL Points, by the way, up for grabs for you guys. We are basically gonna make it this way: wager and win, meaning you, as viewers, will lock in your vote for who you feel is gonna win in the grand finals, and only one person, of course, who is gonna be picked out of the pool of whoever wins. You basically vote for, if you want Korea to win, you vote for Korea. If you want for Wen Sushi to win, if you think Wen Sushi is gonna win, you vote for Wen Sushi. If either of them wins, you, who have voted for them, will have a chance to win 80 SGD worth of MOL Points, probably sponsored by MOL Points. So, for those of you guys who do not know how the specifics of the game works so far, Korea, in order for him to win, he has to win 2 best out of 7 series here. So he has less of a chance to win against Wen Sushi. So do keep that in mind. Wen Sushi, all he needs to do is win 1 best out of 7 series in order to win the whole goddamn thing. The road to Northern. I mean, we are finally coming to a close here. So with that being said, we will be opening up the wager and win a little bit. We'll be opening it right now. So you guys on Twitch, whoever you feel is gonna win, go ahead and lock in your votes right now, because the grand finals will be coming up to you very soon. Best of 7, Hearthstone, eGTV, Hearthstone League, Season 1, the road to Northern about to come to a close. Katips, how do you feel, man?
Oh my gosh, very well deserved. Sushi obviously plowing through everybody, hasn't lost a single game, waiting in the shadows of the grand finals. But Korea, despite all of his bad luck, still manages to claw his way back with his druids hero power back into the grand finals to face Sushi and face his demons from season 1. From cycle 1. So it's going to be a very crazy grand final. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Definitely. With that being said, we're going to be going to a quick short break here. But of course, as usual, we would like again to thank our sponsors, proud sponsors there, Razer. For you guys, man, who really love to play games, you want to share your games with the rest of the world, you want to be able to be a part of something big, go ahead and check out Razer's Game Booster that allows you to share recorded gameplay videos via Facebook or YouTube. If you want to learn more, or if you want to download, you can always go ahead and check it out over at razerzone.com/gamebooster.